Welcome back, class. This video will discuss our first two vocabulary words for this unit and how they apply to the unit as a whole. This unit is called figure drawing. We are drawing the human form in proportion to make sure everything is the right size and placement as it should be, but we're doing it in a manner that's a very quick and loose in style, and that's called gesture drawing. A lot of artists want their drawing to be perfect right away, that the first line and every line they draw on the paper will be flawless and will never need to be changed or erased. But that's just simply not true in art, and that's why we're teaching you about gesture drawing. Before I get more into it, gesture drawing is a quick, often simple drawing that captures the essential feeling, energy, movement, action, or pose of the subject. So the main words to focus on here are quick and simple. So any drawing, any painting that you see is most likely has some kind of underdrawing, some kind of very quick and loose drawing to almost map out where everything is going to go. Art is very rarely or never perfect right off the bat. There's a lot of processes and steps of production, and when drawing the human figure, you want to keep a nice loose kind of rudimentary feel to the drawing so that you can later refine and clean up those details after the fact, because you want to figure out those proportions first, which we're going to talk about in a minute. And from there, you then detail it and make it more clean to your liking. All right, so gesture drawing is a quick and simple drawing method, as displayed in these images here. Going down to the next slide, your next vocabulary word for today or for this lesson is proportion. And proportion is the relationship of one part to the other and the whole. So even if I start with this stick figure mannequin here, if I relate this part, the head, to another part, the torso, and then also compare them to the whole body, you want to make sure that everything is basically the right size compared to everything else. If this head were much larger, following the path of my mouse cursor here, then that would not be in proportion. The head would be way too big, and you would know that naturally. You may not have known to define the word the way that it's shown to you today, but you would know it's too big because you are comparing that size of that head to the rest of the body, and you would know there need to be smaller for it to make sense for it to be in proportion. And this is a much more detailed drawing of the human form, where you can see even the underdrawings in red and light gray, and then here the artist started to further detail it. So I really like this image because when drawing the human form, you can see the very quick first steps of the initial gesture drawing to kind of keep the general placement and proportions, and then after the artist did that, then that's when they started adding the muscular detail and features in their drawing. And the image on the far right, you can see the actual breakdown of the general size and measurements from one part of the body to the other, whether it's the head compared to the torso compared to the arm or the leg. You want to constantly be relating all parts of the body to each other to make sure one thing is not too long, too short, too large, too small, things like that. So we've talked about gesture drawing and proportion, and now we're going to go into our investigative question for today, which is, how do artists create mood or feeling within an artwork? So with those images that we were looking at, let's go back to slide 1 here. Your question that we're answering for today is, how does an artist create mood or feeling? Each one of these drawings, if I just look at these 5 images in the bottom left, each one of these shows a different mood and feeling. I mean, this girl here looks like she's dancing, or she's just carefree and walking around. Yet this gentleman looks like he's looking at his phone or something in his hand. He's very calm and relaxed. I don't know if this guy's also dancing or looks like he's playing like an air guitar or something like that. This one has his arms crossed as if he's in deep thought with his head down, almost depressed or just kind of lost in his mind there. But each one of those has a different feeling, mainly because of the pose, the pose that they're actually in, the positions of their body, and not just their arms and legs, but their head. Everything as a whole kind of captures that feeling, that emotion. Even all these other images, you can see this figure looks like he's basically running or ducking around something. This one is casually walking with his hand in his pocket. You can see his head looking sideways. So to really capture the mood or feeling within an artwork, you want to make sure that the position of the body is specific to that mood or feeling, and even how you add those lines. If the lines are much more rough and jagged, that could add a sense of anxiety or stress or fear. If the lines are much more kind of still loose but a little more smooth and soft, maybe it won't be such a stressful kind of feeling, maybe more relaxed, kind of carefree feeling. But basically what I'm trying to say is how you draw the body, the position of the body, and also the style in which you do your gesture drawing, whether it's soft or hard pressed and rough, can create different feelings in that artwork. With that said, I am just going to kind of highlight the overall essential question for this unit. You do not need to answer this today, but by the end of the unit, we need to know how to answer how do gesture drawings capture the feeling, energy, movement, and action. That's basically very similar to our question today, except just a little bit more in depth. We want to be thinking about this and how different gesture drawings can capture these different feelings and energies, movement, and action. So we're going to be discussing this over the next couple of weeks. But for today, we are just discussing how do you create just the mood and the feeling. How do you give a sense of different mood and feeling in your drawings. All right, so that's it for this video. So please make sure at the end of the video you answer today's entrance ticket, and then after that you watch the instructional video and then complete the assignment task for this lesson. All right, guys, I look forward to seeing your answers, and I will talk to you soon in the instructional video. Bye, everyone.